Dig.com is a mass collaboration blog and news aggregator that allows people to share news, links, content, pictures, and all other forms of digital media from anywhere on the internet by submitting stories and links and then ranking those stories by voting them up or down. As journalist Sarah Lacey describes it in her book, Once You're Lucky, Twice You're Good, think of it as citizen journalism for lazy people who don't want to write their own blogs and can just find stories to mark them as good. All users of the site are invited to either dig, vote in favor of, or bury, vote against, stories that they feel strongly about. While thousands of stories are submitted daily, only the most dug will ever make it to the front page, and those that do will be the subject of great debate in the comments section of each story. My question to you is, why do people use Dig? Why is it popular? What's so great about it?
I follow Dig pretty regularly, and other blogs too. I think Dig offers people a neat alternative to regular news that gives them a vote they wouldn't otherwise have. Plus the comments and stuff are really important.
Lately, however, the democratic nature of the Dig mechanism has been called into question. Applying a social construction of technology analysis reveals that the relevant social groups, mass media institutions, the bloggers and readers of Dig.com, and Dig itself all have different ideas of how the technology should be used. Users are taking issue with mass media and entrepreneurs who are paying influential Dig users to submit their stories. Users have also taken issue with Dig itself, claiming that the bury option is both too anonymous and undemocratic, as it is frequently used to kill stories that don't fit with the prevailing opinion of the Dig community. This, of course, speaks to the issue of an undemocratic Dig elite, who's beginning to resemble the gatekeeping mechanisms of traditional mass media.
Colin, tell me, why do you think a person would choose to read, a blog or something like Dig rather than take information from a traditional source like newspaper or television?
For me, what it comes down to is either a kind of a specialization, either in the subculture of the readers and the commenters, or the subject matter itself. So it's like the comments or the content. In something like an aggregator, for me, it tends to be that you get this subculture among the people and the readers, and there's kind of amongst the comments, there's all the different memes, and there's kind of an attraction there. But the blogs that I enjoy reading more, it's because there's a very specialized content, a subculture of content, I guess, that you can't get somewhere else.
So, in essence, you think the appeal is that the content is structured by the subculture?
Yeah, the content is structured by the subculture.
In terms of interpretive flexibility, Dig can really be seen two ways. Either A, as a news aggregator that is democratic in nature, or B, as a distinct subculture that, as scholar Sarah Thornton would suggest, seeks to make meaning in the service of power. A survey of the top 15 stories for March 26 of 2009 reveals 9 of them to have stemmed from traditional mass media sources such as the Associated Press, Discover Magazine, the LA Times, The Onion, or The Independent, while the other 4 were split between independent news services such as Alternet and user-generated content from both Flickr and YouTube. Another survey from Dig's homepage, or most recent page, indicates 8 of the top 15 stories being from traditional media publications such as the Associated Press, the BBC, or Wired.
When you read a story on Dig, when you see something that someone's posted, what constitutes a credible source?
If it's coming from like a general news story, I'd probably consider something from one of the bigger broadcasting corporations to be more reliable than something that's coming out of somebody's backyard, like BBC, CBC, CNN, that sort of thing.
In terms of closure and stabilization, given the consolidated power amongst elite Dig users, the argument that, much like scholar Tawny Haas pointed out about traditional bloggers back in 2005, Dig users will prefer to cite credible mainstream sources or a small number of influential blogs to enhance their credibility within the Dig community. This reliance on traditional media was what Haas called intermedia agenda setting. In applying these principles to Dig, we see how even the leaders of new media can quickly begin to resemble, quote, the hierarchical nature of mainstream news organizations. Rather than challenge old media, they effectively strengthen and amplify their cultural hegemony. While it may at first seem as though, counter to Habermas's critique, the internet has created new virtual spaces for public discourse on political or social matters, not all new media may stand in direct opposition to old media, or may be more democratic than old media. In the example of Dig, we see how old media's reputation and credibility has allowed members of a particular subculture to appropriate that in the service of their own power.